Okay, we're back. Hi, if you don't know me, my name is Rhonda. This is the second part of the video. Um, I have art on Instagram at Rhonda Mills 67, and I have a Facebook channel that does more lightweight stuff and cooking segments and water in the yard and stuff like that. And that is on The Secret Creations. Um, so at some point, my aunt used to come down here to visit. My cousins didn't come, and my uncle didn't come, but my aunt used to come. And she was like one of my favorite people, and we used to talk all the time. And I knew that that particular uncle had a reputation, like as a ladies' man. I found that out as my young adulthood. I didn't know it as a child. But I'd always heard that, my aunt put up with too much, blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know if I was in my early 30s or mid 20s. I don't really remember when it was, but me and my aunt were laying in the sun by the pool one day at my parents' house, and we were having like a genuine conversation. And she was telling me that she was aware of things that he'd done, and that they hadn't, she didn't sleep with him anymore, so to speak. Um, and that she had her own friends too. Um, and she told me a lot of things that were totally opposite of what I had been told as a child. Like it seemed like this was a strong woman, and that she knew who she was married to. And, you know, I I didn't say anything to her then, but I kept thinking to myself, and she didn't want to leave him, for the kids' sake, but the kids were obviously older. Um, but still, it played in my head, and it just kept playing and playing and playing and playing and playing and playing in my head. And I kept seeing things on TV about how people were coming out, um, you know, about their abusers, and I'd seen a lot of things, on whether it be Oprah or Sally Jesse Raphael, whatever I was watching at the time, Ricky Lake, I don't remember. But I was getting madder and madder the older I got, the more realizations I had, the more that friends of mine started to have children. I can't have children, but when friends of mine would have children and I would babysit them or whatever, things like this I would think about and think, how in the world would somebody do, A, B, or C? Like I could never even think about, right? So things would come to me more and more as I got older, and I finally got so mad one day. I was like, that's it. That's it. I'm writing him a letter. I'm going to ask him, what the heck were you doing? I was a child. Why? Um, and my fear was that I was going to write him this letter because they're very far away from where I am, and that one of the kids or the mom was going to open the letter and read it and then be like totally shocked at what I'd written to him, because keep in mind, I was angry, and he had taken away one of my favorite places to be. He had taken away my favorite aunt and family members that I thought that I was going to keep in touch with. Um, so I was furious. So I thought I better write a letter to my aunt and explain what happened and tell her that, in case she felt any guilt or something, that she had nothing to do with it and that I wasn't mad at her. And then I wrote a letter to my cousins, the one that was closest to me in age and the other two. Um, I remember my dad calling me and saying that he just got a phone call from up there and they couldn't believe that this had happened, blah, blah, blah. Of course, my parents, they knew. But nobody ever said anything or did anything, which the older I got kind of ticked me off too, because I thought, uh, what if I had a child and somebody do that to my child? Would I just absolutely, completely ignore it? And because here's the thing, my parents still go back there occasionally for holidays or funerals or just to visit, and they still see everybody that I don't see. And on Facebook, they're friends with the people that won't talk to me or see me. And um, now there's this big Me Too movement, and people come out, 27, 30 years later. You never know when inside your mind you're just like not going to be able to take it anymore and like stand up and defend yourself because nobody did defend you. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying not to cry. My God, this is so ridiculous. So anyway, so that's an incident in particular that you would think like, okay, so just get over it. Like it happened, right? Get over it. And I do, until I see, because the names of my cousins will pop up on me every day. Like, do you know this person? Because we have like 15 mutual friends, right? Because I lived in a small neighborhood. So, my friends that I grew up with are now friends with like my aunts and uncles and cousins and exes. And it's like, how do y'all? And then it's like, oh yeah, well, everybody lives together. They're so close, you're going to be at the same gas station, the same grocery store or something. And so everybody knows everybody now. And so I might be like on a childhood friends page and see that my cousin chimed in and said something to them, or I might be on one of my cousin's pages and I see that they just talked to my cousin who hasn't talked to me. Sorry, y'all. So it's just like, it would be easier if it wasn't in your face every day, and like they never ever, none of them have ever been like, sorry that happened to you, you know how are you? They don't even know if I'm alive as far as I know. And it's really strange when my parents go back and talk to them and they'll be like, oh yeah, we visited with so and so, and so and so's married now and they have kids, this, that, or whatever. And it's like, do you think I want to hear about it? Like, really? Y'all go and visit them. That's nice. So, I hope if this is happening to anyone that's on here that you will speak up and tell somebody. And if that somebody doesn't do something, that you tell somebody else. And if that somebody doesn't do something, to tell somebody else. I didn't know enough to tell when I was younger. But I do remember my mother saying weird things to me that I didn't understand as a child that I'm kind of starting to process now. Like, be very careful when you go over there. Make sure you're careful when you go over there. Like, I didn't know what she was talking about as a child. What do you mean, be careful? Like, I'm thinking, don't trip or don't hurt yourself or something. Like, what do you mean, be careful over there? I think she used to talk to me like, I don't know, like I was an adult or something. I didn't. So anyway, you just never know what other people are going through. And everything is not always about just the incident that actually occurred whenever it occurred. It's like the constant reminders of, or, something similar to that. Because of social media and because of television and movies, there's just so many reminders of different things from my childhood or my teenagehood that creep up continually, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, and you try and like just let it go and let it just be a thought that crosses through your brain. But, I'm still trying to deal with all of it because it's a lot, when you put it all together. There's a lot on here that I'm not going to tell y'all, for my own private reasons, but just know that if you have kids, be kind to them. And give them a good foundation, like a good self-esteem, so they have some kind of stability inside their mind to fall back on. Because, as I've told y'all before, I'm not the one on here like, hey, my life is so good, my car is so good, my house is so good, my life is so good, I'm so good. No, it's not that way. I'm here to tell you about all the things you shouldn't do and shouldn't be. I don't know what I could have done to avoid that situation or how I could have helped make it better. I just feel like that was a failure on somebody else's part. And it doesn't do any good to be like, haha, it was your fault. Because that still doesn't make my life any better. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't help anything. Okay, it was my fault, it was your fault, it was his fault, it was her fault, whoever's fault it was, does not change the fact that it happened. You know what I mean? But I'm sure that I have a lot of cousin and a lot of family members that are wondering why that particular cousin doesn't talk to me, because everybody knows that we grew up right next to each other. And so it's always weird for me to wonder what everybody thinks about me, because I used to be like actually part of a family. Like I said, that had weddings and Christmases and family reunions and all of us sitting together eating at Christmas and all that stuff. That hasn't existed for me since we moved down here. And I know that they all still, see each other up there and stuff. And so it's hard for me because I'm just like, I don't exist anymore. That's it. So, I can't say that I hope you enjoyed the video, because what are you going to enjoy, right? But I hope if you were having a bad day, maybe this made your day a little easier, because you're like, man, at least I don't have that chick's life. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But if you would subscribe, that would help me out so much. It doesn't cost anything. All you have to do is push a little button. Subscribe, that's all. I know that I get a lot of views, but not a lot of subscribers. Like, it doesn't match up at all. You know what I mean? So if you would like to support me or help me in any way, just please hit the subscribe button, because that would help me out so much. Thank y'all for joining me, and have a really awesome rest of your night. And I believe that I'm going to be giving a tour of a museum here shortly, because the temperature is supposed to go down in the next few minutes. And I'm going to go down the street and do a little tour of this neat little old homestead that's been made into a museum. We like to walk the dogs there, but I thought maybe I'd share it with y'all. Maybe y'all would like to see it. And that's on The Secret Creations, plural. So, bye, y'all. I'll see you tomorrow.